I shall bring that email.
Okay, you're recording. So, would you edit it?
All right, so let's go there. I will say at times 3 greater than H2 can say chapter dollar plus P greater than lorem times 3. So you can see, you can actually see that it has brought up this guy here. So let's just do the normal styling things, okay? So let's do the normal styling. Let's start the styling. So let's style the now first, okay? Let's style the now. So I have my style here. I'm going to write embedded styles at the head section. So I will say now, what the first thing I should do? Display what? I have to display it as a flexible box. So when I say display flex, the text is going to come up together. Okay, so fine. So after displaying it flex, I can say flex direction. So flex direction will be row. So I will just put it row, and then of course when it is row, it's going to stay this way. So I will leave it this point, and I will now look at nav A. I'm going to tell the nav of A to be flexed at 1. So the flex should be 1. So that will make it to space around, and text decoration should be none. So text decoration is at none, right? So I don't want it to have an underline. So text transform should be capitalized, and it's going to make it better. So let's try to change this. Let's say, even though this guy is probably here is courses, let's say courses. I can say students. So this is students, students, and maybe this is register, and probably this is contacts. Contacts. So contacts. Okay. So yeah, another thing I could also do is I will look at each of these my 3 articles here. Okay, so okay, let me just delete this. I want to do this thing again. I don't really get what I did here. So part 1, part 2, part 3, and everything. So I'll say article. Let me make it up to 5. Article times 5. Okay, article times 5, and I want the article to have an ID. Okay, the H2 should have an ID. So I will say greater than H2 hash, because I want an ID hash part dollar H2 part dollar plus guy, so plus P greater than okay, H2 hash dollar. Okay, I will still need to add something in H2 hash dollar. I will just say chapter. I will just put a text there, chapter dollar, which will make it to have chapter 1, chapter 2, and this is plus P greater than lorem times 3. So okay, fine. So I just wanted to have that.
When did you add this family?
So
did it come with the lorem?
Yeah, it came with the lorem. So that is so, but it's not a problem. We leave it there. So it comes with the lorem, and then that. So of course, with this now, if I click on this guy will take me to chapter 2. This will take me to chapter 3. Of course, this is called document fragmentation, if you already remember. by giving it this hash. So let's go back to our styling, and then I will say this. Okay, fine. And then what else can I style on the nav? So I will give it a padding here. I will give it a padding. So padding could be 2M. Okay, top and bottom should have a padding of 2M. And then when I come here, I can actually do something. I want it to have a line, so I can either do a bottom shadow or a box shadow, stuff like that. So that is fine, whichever one that I choose to do. So I can do a box shadow. Okay, I can do a box shadow. So I don't want to do a box shadow. Let me just do bottom border. Border at the bottom. So bottom border should be like 4 pixels, solid, and I can say hash CCC. So with our CCC, I will have the line staying there. So when I look at this, you can see how it is saying whether, okay, so I'll look at what happens to the nav whenever I hover on the nav. So I can say nav A on hover. So whenever it is hovered up, okay, what do I want it to do? Okay, so probably I want it to border. I want it to have a border around it. So border, border. So probably 4 pixels of border that is double, and then the color should be dodgy blue. So dodgy blue. Okay, so when I hover on it, I can actually see that text align is center. So I can align this text to the center, TAC, text align to be on the center. So if I just do this, I'll be able to hover on it, and I'm seeing that effect already there. Okay. So
color in this hover tag. It will, like when you hover, it will show that particular color.
Yeah, it will show that. That is the color. That is the color that is coming from this. That is this color on this border.
Inside, like
okay. So yeah, okay. I'm listening.
The color itself, you put color tag now.
So yeah, I can put color tag. Probably I want the color to be white, and then I want the background to probably be blue, and the font family should be Arial. Font family should be any sans serif font. So any sans serif font, which will actually be bold and its nature. So you can see when I hover on it, you can see. So that makes it look that's touch fine.
To reduce the opacity.
Opacity. Yeah, I can add opacity if I want, but there's no need for me to reduce opacity. I think everything is still working fine. I will add it here. If I want opacity, I can say opacity here. So opacity of probably 0.6. So on hover, I can see how the opacity looks. That is what it wants. That's fine. I don't like it. Okay, so it's darker like this and it's fine. Okay, so let's look at this and try to work on these things very, very well. So we are going to work on it. So we are looking at the main. So when I look at the main page, okay, I can tell it to the width, it should not take up everything. Probably it should just take up like 60% of the entire stuff, and margin should be 0 or 2. Margin should be 0 and or 2. So that will actually fix everything to the center. 60% looks a bit too small, so I can say 65%. So I can have some breathing space here. So I have this text here now. So I can look at the paragraph, and I want to touch the paragraphs more. So looking at this paragraph now, okay, fine, this guy. The paragraph here, and I can actually say line heights. I can look at the line heights to be like to be 2. So the text will be the same, and then justify content, text align should be justified. So it should be able to justify it. Okay, so font size, I can increase the font size small. I can say the font size should be like 1.5 the size of the rank. So 1.5 size of the rank. So I don't really know what the rem size is, okay? But the rem size is always what I can change based on the parent. The rem is the root element. But when I look here, inspecting my DOM, I'll be able to see a lot of things here, okay? When I inspect the DOM here, I can see that on the paragraph, okay? So what am I even looking at? So the font size. Okay, so the font size is 2.5 size of rem. Okay, so now if I see this guy here, right? So I don't really know what my rem is, but I'm actually working with rem. Okay, so I can go back, go to the front, and then I look at my HTML. So coming here, I can tell my HTML to have a font size of probably 30 pixels. So if I'm telling you to have a font size 30 pixels, and I'm now saying 1.5, the size of the rem, that means the font size of this text will now be 45 pixels. So that is what it actually means. And you can see that it's bigger now, okay, because I'm looking at 1.5, the size of it. But let me see, I want it to be 0.5, the size of it. So I'm going to put 0 here. Okay, so that's actually it. So, but that is
0.5, the size of the 30 pixels.
Yeah, the size of, so that is what the rem signifies. Okay, so I can actually make it 0.8 the size of the 30 pixel, and that is this.
So what if you don't put that 30 pixel, you just put 0.8?
Yeah, it already has a default size. Okay, so original default size of around 4 pixels. So, but I can always change that to what I want it to be. So of course, this will take me to chapter 1, this will take me to chapter 2, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
Also using EM itself, for this to be 0.8 EM of that 30 pixel.
EM, no, EM is for the parent element. Okay, so let's say I look at the H1 now, or the H2. Okay, I say H2, and then I tell H2 to be 1.5, this font size anyway, font size. So I tell H2 to have a font size of 1.5, the size of the root element. Okay, it doesn't actually change anything, that's fine. But let me just, I've not indicated this thing. So the parent element is article. So I can tell the article to have a font size of probably 20 pixels. Okay, so that means the M will now be 30 pixels. Can you see?
So rem works with the root.
The parent element, rem works with the root element.
HTML.
Yes, the HTML, that's the root element.
R for root.
Yeah, EM for the parent element. Okay, so direct parent element. So this changes to that. So I can look at the H2 now, and then I tell it to text align this to the 10 center. Okay, so it will come to the center. What else can I do? I can give it a background color. So yeah, background color. So background color first. So background color. Can give it a background color. Okay, background color should be like background color. Okay, let's give it I've been working with dodgy blue here, so let me just make it to be dodgy blue. Okay, so some padding around it will also make it to look good. So I look at the padding here, make it to look good. Padding of about 1.5, the size of the M. So this might be quite crazy. Okay, it's not actually crazy. Okay, so I can say 1.2, that is fine. Okay, so one other good stuff I can also add it is giving it something like a box shadow. So when I give it a box shadow, probably something around 3 pixel 0 and probably 5 pixel for the blur effect, and then this should be like ash, probably ash 999. So this will actually blur this. Okay, so fine. This is not, can say it's 15, can blur it somehow a bit. So I can increase this guy to 5. It's 5. Can actually blur it. So let me increase this guy to probably something like 66. 66 will make it to be bigger. So it will actually blur it. So you can actually see that.
Can you give that to an image, like a background image?
Yeah, you can.
Can you do it now?
I don't want to work with image here. Okay, so you can always try it out. Try out all these things. Okay. So now I don't like the situation that when I scroll this guy, I don't want when I scroll this guy that this guy is moving. Okay. This guy is moving. So I want this guy to stay here when I scroll. Okay, so I can go to the nav and give it a background color. I don't really want to talk about this background color. So dodgy blue, I don't know what it look like in all these guys. So now the number one this thing that we have is static. Okay, static, I mean. So if I tell this guy to be static, position static, it's not coming out anyway. So position to be static, so it doesn't do anything. So that is the normal positioning that we have, static position. So that's default one. Okay, so things start getting interesting if I give a position like relative. If I give it a relative position, okay, it doesn't look like there's a difference, but there's actually a difference. When I give a relative position, that means that I can actually change the position of this nav. Okay, so now what does positioning really mean? Like I'm moving something, you know, before now, I cannot move a content without moving. If I want to push this guy down, if I want to push this nav down, okay, I will have to move the entire thing. But with this now, I can actually say top, and I look at top, and I say top should be like 3M from the top. You see that I'm moving it, okay, and every other thing is staying where they are. So if I say like 13M, okay, I've moved it here, and everything is staying where it is. Okay, so let me move. This is moving on this. So let me just put it at the nav so that this thing can also move with it. Okay, so I want the line to follow it when it's moving, so you can see. So that's what it means, right? So with native positioning, I can actually move my content without changing anything. So that's why I can say have what? 0 address. So when I tell it now, native position this thing at 0.0. So I have it there. So now, okay, when I move this thing down to about 13M down, you will see that this guy is here. Okay, this guy is here. All right, is here. So, but with my Z index, I can actually push it under. I can say Z index of -1. That will push it under. You see that it has gone under the text. Okay. So, but I can still maintain it at 0. Okay. So it can still stay there. Fine. So now that is for native measurement. Okay. So another form of measurement another form of positioning that we have is fixed position. So that is the guy that will help us to do this work. So if I position this guy fixed, okay, okay, fine. I'll be able to have this guy positioned fixed now. So this guy can actually move like this. So you can see that I have to remove this Z index so that it will be positioned there. Okay. So, but the problem with this, can you see that my chapter 1 is lost? Because it's under it, it has overlapped it. And that is exactly what absolute position will do. Okay. But the problem with absolute position is it doesn't fix. Absolute position and fixed position are basically the only difference that with absolute position now.
Also, on just yes, that particular page.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. But when I have fixed position, okay. When I have fixed position, okay. So this guy is fixed. It can actually scoop. So what I can actually do now is to go to my main and tell my main to do what? To do what? To position relative. Why am I giving it to position relative? It's only when I tell it to position relative that I can actually control the top so that this guy can come down. So I can now tell it to do what? I can now tell it to have from the top, it should be like 3M from the top. Okay. So it doesn't look like I'm actually pushing anything. So let me say 13M. Okay, fine. I think it is pushing it, but it's made of not taking it. Yeah, I think it's quite much here from the top, which is here. Let me make it 4. Five. Come on, man. So, but when you are moving this guy, he's moving on, is it not? He's moving on, or he's moving on top. So I need it to move on. Okay. So that is where I will now take that Z index that I have here and put there. Okay. So I want to check it. So that now when I move it, it's moving under it. Are you with me? So another thing I can do, another form of positioning is sticky. Okay. Sticky positioning is quite awesome, but it makes something to be fixed, but only when it is within its own threshold. Okay, so let's try to maximize this and even look at how does this appear looks like now. See what is happening. So you can see that this guy is not full here. So because of the kind of position that I'm giving it, so I need to tell it to do what? I need to come back. I need to come back. And the same way I say top, I'm going to give it right of 0 so that the right hand side will also be 0. When I do that, I also need to give the same to the left hand side now. So I will also say left hand side to also be what? 0, so that I will have everything. So you can actually see that it's moving. So of course, if I click this, I will have this here. Okay, so it's going to, of course, going to hide itself under there. Don't know why that guy. So chapter 3, everything is going to be hidden under there. So why is it actually happening this way? Okay, so I need to increase this. I need to increase what here? I need to increase. I need to increase the top of this guy. Okay, let me make the top to be like 7M. 7M now. Alright. Get the top to be like 7M now. Don't want anything to, okay. So this guy is getting lost. I don't know why it's getting lost. I don't know why it's getting lost. And maybe I need to change it. Okay. Maybe I will need to change it. And then maybe I need to change it. But we're not to do something. Okay. So I'm looking at the H2 now. I'm going to give it a position of sticky. Position it to be what? Sticky. So, but when I give it a sticky position, I need to tell it at what point is it going to be sticky. So once the top is within about 50 pixels, let me just make this thing to be pixel. Okay, so okay, fine. You want to say?
You're going to click on the register or the navbar. I think you need to click on this thing.
Hold on, let me pause my stuff. All right. Okay, so that's it. That's it. Fine. Move it. Move them. Move it out. Move them. Okay, so I can always bring out each one by clicking on it. Okay, so if I push it down, I see if I'm opening up something, moving on down, everything. So that is the work. Sticky with top positioning, distance from the top, then absolute positioning, and that is fine. Thank you.